So I have a confession to make, and no, it's not leaving the house with this outrageously poofy hair. I own that. But I had a question come in the other day, and it was a deeply personal one. And I was honored that someone would ask me that. And it had to do with massive loss and grief. Now, my initial response, and this is what I'm confessing to, my initial response is, I can't do it. I can't answer that question. Like, I didn't feel qualified to answer that question. Kind of felt like a fraud a little bit because it wasn't something that I could immediately connect to on the surface. You see, I've never suffered great personal loss in my family or my life in general yet. I've not had to go through that grief period. So that's where I felt I didn't qualify. But then, that was the first thought. And as I always say, we're not responsible for the first thoughts that come into our mind, but we are responsible for the thoughts that follow. And so I decided to do a gentle reframe on that. And I thought I may have not suffered loss in terms of an immediate death of a loved one, but grief comes in many ways. We grieve many different things other than a physical death. We can grieve the end of a relationship, whether it's a romantic or friendship or whatever it is, business partnership. We can grieve the loss of being able-bodied. We've got an illness or some injury that's happened to us. We can grieve a business that we've lost, or our children leaving the nest. We can grieve. There's just so many things. And also just metaphorically, we can grieve who we used to be and how we used to be. And for me, that beckons me back to getting sober. When I got into recovery, getting sober, I had to contend with grieving my old ways of being, who I was, the people I hung out with, the activities, all that. And even though they were harmful to me and those around me, I still grieved it. And I didn't realize that at the time. And it wasn't until later on that I realized a lot of that sadness and emptiness was grieving how I used to be, even though I was stepping into a newer, healthier, better version, so to speak. And once I just did that reframe for myself, I had all these ideas come into how I'm going to answer this question, including some stories and some metaphors and all that. And so it was because I shifted my thinking around that I was able to invite more to come in. And now I feel really confident that I can be of service with this person in the question and answer. So I just share this because sometimes, we allow our first thought to debilitate us and to cut us off at the knees. But sometimes it's challenging that first thought and doing some gentle reframing that can bring you to a different place. So that's why I'm sharing this. All right, that's all I got.